Hi, I'm Dr. Robin Koslowitz, YouTube's post-traumatic parenting expert. Are you a post-traumatic parent? Are you somebody who says, I'd like to give my kids a healthier childhood than the one I had? Are you feeling depleted by recent traumas in your life? Welcome. We get it. We're post-traumatic parents too. New research shows that phubbing, or the practice of ignoring someone while being on your phone, has really serious implications for the mental health of the phubber, the person doing the phubbing, and the person being phubbed. This has some implications for parenting that we need to think hard about, especially as post-traumatic parents who sometimes we tend to spend a little bit too much time on our phones. But first, if this content interests you, if you worry about the effects of your phone time on your children, then click subscribe below so you never miss another episode. If you'd like to talk about how your trauma intersects with your parenting, you're in the right place. Please check out the Post-Traumatic Parenting channel here on YouTube, the Post-Traumatic Parenting Podcast, and the Post-Traumatic Parenting Community on Instagram. You can find us at Dr. Koslowitz Psychology. So this new study looked at phubbing, which is this practice of being with another person, but basically being absorbed in your phone while you're talking to that person. And the study showed that it has really great implications, real major implications for a sense of loneliness, depression, low self-esteem, both for the person being phubbed, right? It's not fun to be ignored. So if I'm talking to you and you're busy on your phone and you're kind of going, but you're really actually paying attention to Instagram and not me, I'm going to feel lonely. Even if I'm with you, I'm going to feel lonely and sad, and I'm going to have a low self-esteem. But the person doing the phubbing also experiences negative effects, such as loneliness, low self-esteem, depression, being in a bad mood, and all of those things. So let's speculate a little bit about what does phubbing do to our children. So a lot of post-traumatic parents, we tend to dissociate. Dissociation becomes our go-to stress management strategy. And the reason we dissociate is our trauma taught us how to do that. So a lot of us who experienced trauma, in the moment of the trauma, we needed to be elsewhere. So we learned how to, think about something else, space out, daydream, and sort of edit our experiences out of our consciousness, even as we're having them. And dissociation can be a real superpower. I think of dissociation a little bit like anesthesia, right? You don't want to undergo surgery without anesthesia, right? You definitely want to numb the pain in the moments that they're cutting into you. In the same way, the occasional dissociative episode can be helpful. If I'm at the dentist's office, I really want to dissociate as that needle goes into my gum. Sometimes my kids are whining and crying and they're in the backseat of the car and I'm fighting through really difficult traffic. And if I dissociate, not too much, I don't want to lose attention of the road, but if I can kind of dissociate away from that stressful experience, then it numbs the pain of it. The problem is if I dissociate too much, my children will notice, and that feels very creepy, like mom's here, but she's not really here. And kids tend to misbehave more in an effort to sort of wake mom up because dissociation, or wake dad up because dissociation is creepy for the person who is experiencing it, experiencing it in the presence of the dissociator, right? So if my child sees me totally spaced out, it's very creepy for them. Like, where are you, mom? Are you home? Are you there? Like, what happened? Sometimes we dissociate kind of light. We're not doing full dissociation. using our phone. So maybe we're scrolling Instagram and we see this lovely feed with this mommy blogger who bakes beautiful sourdough bread, and her kitchen is white and pristine, and her playroom is color coordinated, and her children are wearing matching, hand knit sweaters that she knit for them herself. And, and everything's just pristine and serene. And you're looking at this completely fantasy world. And it's easy. That sometimes feels very good. Playing a game like Candy Crush can feel very good. Watching some mindless reality TV thing can feel very good in the moment. But meanwhile, preschooler comes home from school and the preschooler is like, Mommy, guess what? I finger painted. And you're saying, yeah, yeah, And it's sort of like you're doing this. Oh, yeah, your teacher said that. Oh, that's nice. So what happened with the Kardashians, right? For the child is being phubbed. And for the child, just like in the study that showed between friends, the friend who's experiencing phubbing can lower their self-esteem, raise depression, make them feel really bad about themselves. They feel lonely. The child who's experiencing phubbing is going to have all of those experiences. So mom is kind of here, but she's not here. Just think about how that feels right now, because I'm alone in this room, right? There's me and you guys on YouTube, but I can't see you. So I say like, Mom, I finger painted today. And there's no response. It kind of falls flat and it kind of feels yucky. So what started as this warm, good feeling, Mommy, guess what? Turns into this yucky kind of, like you're sort of leaving me hanging here, right? What we want to be doing is matching our child. Mommy, I finger painted today. Oh, wow. What color did you choose? Oh, I can't wait to see your painting. It's going to dry tomorrow. Okay, I can't wait to see it. Let's clear off a space on the fridge to hang it up. That's the response. Child feels good and mom feels good, right? Or dad feels good, because there's a social circuit in our brain. There's an intersubjectivity circuit where I feel you and you feel me. I think about you and you are thinking about me, and our mirror neurons kind of sync up and it feels good. We feel attuned. I'm telling you, Mom, about this exciting finger painting I did, and you, Mom, feel excited. That's an essential part of childhood. If you think of the Dr. Seuss book, The Cat in the Hat, right? At one point, the cat says, look at me, look at me, look at me now. The next line is, it is fun to have fun, but you have to know how. You know how to have fun? We have fun when people are looking at me now, when mom or dad mirrors our excitement in that moment. Look, Ma, no hands. Look at me, I'm at the top of the monkey bars. Look at me, I slid down the sliding pond. It's more fun. If I just slide down the sliding pond and my parent doesn't see it and reflect it, then it falls flat. It's not nearly as much fun. So I come home from school and I'm like, Mommy, I finger painted. Or even, Mommy, my best friend didn't sit next to me and she says she doesn't like me anymore. And mom's like, yeah, honey. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you, honey. Oh, okay. Meanwhile, mom's entire brain is on, the Kardashians or a funny cat video or this gorgeous mommy blogger feed. What happens to the child's mirror neurons? What happens to the intersubjective experience of what's happening between the parent and the child? So an entire circuit in the brain that could have been strengthened and made stronger created self-esteem, taking away loneliness, taking away depression, creating joy, connection, a well-resourced personality that feels good about itself and its place in the world. None of that happened. So I think we have to think very hard about this study about phubbing and think about its implications for parenting, because you see it all the time. I have done it myself. Like, I am guilty of this, right? Where you see a parent and a kid and they're in the dentist's office and, in the waiting room, and the kid is trying to engage the parent and the parent's like, because they're on their phone. It's almost worse than not being there at all. The kid's not with the parent at all. Mom went to the bathroom. Then the kid's not trying to engage. So that phubbing experience doesn't happen. But pretending to be there and phubbing is so much worse than, being honest with ourselves. Because sometimes when we're honest with ourselves, like if I left my kid alone, and I was doing some laundry upstairs and my kids were in the playroom for a while, and then I go down, I am conscious, I left them for a while, and now that I'm back, I want to be present. If I come home after a long day of giving workshops in schools and speaking engagements, and I come home and maybe I'm an hour later than I normally am because I had a really long speaking engagement. So I come in, I am conscious of the fact that my kids haven't seen me in a while. I am going to make the conscious effort to be very present, to hear about each child's day, to talk to each child, to catch up with each child, to talk to them just about anything. I want to be very present because I'm conscious that I wasn't present for a long time. But if I'm there and on my phone, I feel like I'm there. It feels like, yeah, I'm here. I'm right here. I'm sitting on the couch watching them play. I'm, doing homework with them. I'm doing things in the kitchen, but my consciousness is on my phone. So I wasn't really there, but I don't feel that urge to make up to them the fact that I wasn't there, because technically I was there. It's very creepy for kids when a parent is present, or physically present, but not psychologically and emotionally present. That can cause some real psychological damage and harm. For me, the fact that I used to dissociate, I thought it was my parenting superpower, because I could get as stressed out as I wanted, and like the day could be as stressful, but I would go into this dissociated, zoned out space, and I was calm. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't spanking. I wasn't slapping. I wasn't losing it. I was getting all the tasks done. The counters were clean, and the food was cooked, and the homework was done, and the baths were given. The briefcase, the backpacks were packed, right? Everything was getting done, but I wasn't really present. And one time my son said to me, "Mommy, where do you go when you go away with your eyes? I don't like when you do that. Can you not do that anymore?" And he burst into tears. And I realized, this stress management tool that I think is working so well for me is actually causing psychological harm to my children. This is not how you're supposed to manage stress. This is not a good thing. So when you're phubbing, you're not quite doing that. You're not going away behind your eyes, but a little bit you are, because you're in Kardashian land, you're, watching funny cats, you're watching this mommy blogger, you're doing all these other things that isn't actually being present with children. So we want to think really hard about this study that shows that phubbing can be so psychologically dangerous, because phubbing with our children, I have a feeling, is even more psychologically dangerous than that. Their psyche expects us to be present, and phubbing is the opposite of presence. So let's be mindful of being present with our children, and let's create phone-free zones. Like if you're watching this channel right now while your kids are around and they're trying to talk to you, please do me a favor, shut the phone right now, put it away for an hour or two, focus on the kids. I promise you, post-traumatic parenting and this YouTube channel will be here later after your kids go to bed. So don't do that, because that illusion that we're present with our kids, but we're actually present on our phone, is a very dangerous thing. And I think in future years, they're going to come out with studies. We're going to find a lot of studies that show just how detrimental and terrible it was. So let's be smart and stop it now. It isn't the best stress management tool for us. If you like this content, please click subscribe below. Please comment below. Let me know. Do you think I'm making too big a deal? Do you think that perhaps phubbing isn't as bad as we're making it seem, and that kids are just going to get used to parents being on their phone, and this is there's too much hysteria? Do you totally agree? And do you feel like phones are in many ways ruining our parenting experiences? Any and all opinions are welcome. Please comment below. Let me know if there are other topics or other videos that you want to hear about, and check out Post Traumatic Parenting Podcast and Dr. Kozlowitz Psychology on Instagram. Bye-bye.